button, all of that.
I got it. Hey, how's everybody doing? Now y'all know when y'all see the two of us together, it's getting ready to be a wonderful time. And so I'm all with my bestie tonight. I said, come on, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about this. Because I've been rolling around in my head this question. I'll give you the backstory after introductions. But I'm Dr. Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the Book Business Boss Consulting, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and be a book business boss. And hopefully live your best life. All of my information is at juliakroyston.com. That'll lead you to all of my entities, all of my e-commerce and all that good stuff. But I'm looking forward to a wonderful conversation with well, I'll just say this for those of you who are new and never heard this story before. If you've been watching me, follow me for a while. But I have some new people that jump on. So this person is what I can truthfully say was a divine connection. People you go to church with all the time for years, they turn into your friends and besties and all that. It's just really association. We're together constantly. Oh yeah, we just gonna be besties and love on each other. But this here was different. This was a different space, totally different. I had never had this happen where God literally divinely connects and assigns somebody to be with me in a different season that I didn't even know I was moving into, but I was. And he yokes you with people that you didn't know, and now you're trying to figure out, how did I ever live without him? Oh my Lord. And I tell Brian, I love you dearly, but I have to go to lunch with Van so I can talk to somebody who understands my language and speaks my language and comes up against the same thing. So I want you to formally introduce herself and tell us where she's from. I know she's still gonna talk about up north, but anyway. And then tell us where we can find her everywhere, social media, all her points, and we're gonna dive right in right after that. Take it away,
All
love.
the things. Well, good evening, everyone. I am Vanessa Collins, your digital marketing strategist, and I am just excited to be here. Yeah, Julia and I have just a very God moment type history. And when I tell you that Julia is a gift from God to me, I mean, it's like for real, for real. I mean, he literally just like delivered her. The only thing that was missing was a bow. Like she
Yeah.
just didn't have a bow on the top of her head. But at a time where I was moving and I'm from Chicago. My husband had accepted a job down in southern Indiana, down by Louisville, Kentucky. I had no idea, I didn't know anybody in this area. I was really concerned because I was very connected to a church ministry. I have been a member of this church since I was 8 years old.
Oh my.
I am 63, and this was what we looking at 17 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do all the math there. But I was just really concerned, and the Sunday that I met Julia at the church I was in Chicago. Now, mind you, Julia is from Southern Indiana. She's down here near Louisville, Kentucky. I am up in Hammond, Indiana, near Chicago, at the end of a Bible study that I normally conduct. I was the pastor of our women's ministry. And finally, after weeks, I was finally getting ready to break the news to the congregation that I was leaving, that my husband had accepted a job somewhere else. And literally, these are people who knew me since I was 8 years old. And I was sitting there. I'm a crybaby. Okay. I'm just always a crybaby. Always joke about it's not me crying, it's the roof leaking. I don't know why it's leaking on my face. but I'm the crybaby. And I'm sitting there just boo-hooing, like, oh, we get ready to leave. And, a couple of friends that I told, they're sitting there trying to, encourage me, pray my strength in the Lord and
And
all
the
of that.
Lord, in the Lord, all the
The
way.
Lord, and I'm trying to hold it together and I'm sniffling and notice these two people sitting, kind of sitting toward the back and in the middle, and they kind of looking at each other. And I think it was Julia. I think it
I
was
did. I
you.
said, "Where are you moving to?"
Where are you moving? Because I
I
just
said,
said
"This
Southern
lady's
Indiana.
devastated." She talking about Southern Indiana. I'm
Right.
like,
I just said
"Where's
Southern
she
Indiana
going?"
because the little town I was moving to, nobody that I knew of had ever heard of it.
Oh yeah,
So when I was like, I'm not going to tell them I'm moving to Floyd Knobs, Indiana, because they're going to think, oh, wait, how, is that what, 10, 20 minutes from Hammond? No, that's
yeah,
5 hours from Hammond. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to say Southern Indiana,
yeah.
near Louisville, Kentucky. And Julia was like, where are you moving to again? And I said the name, and she looked at her husband and she said, how far is that from us? And her husband looked and was like, oh, that's about 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah,
And when I tell you old fashioned church went in, the
yeah, they
church went
did. The
in.
boy hit the organ and everything. It was like,
Yes, yes.
Lordy.
'Cause,
Yeah,
and like I said, Julia is a gift. So
yeah, yeah. I
that's
let her
my
be here about
story.
a month or so, and then I was like, okay, let's get this started.
Right. Let's get
You're
together.
not getting ready to
And
stay on that mountain by yourself. Hello.
oh my goodness. So it has been amazing. She was already kind of a year into her publishing journey. I had just published my first book. I wasn't publishing for anybody. I was just, just going to do this for me. And so we have been walking this journey together for the last 17 years.
Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah, and
yep.
you can find me, Vanessa Collins LLC. If you go there, you can find all my stuff. If you are watching on Facebook, the easiest way to get to me is to hit the message button and you can get right to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So all the things, digital mastery, all the things, all the places. So Vanessa Collins is the business tech, get your technology life systems together. That's where I can say it. Now I can do some, but that's the queen of it right there. And I think there are some times that it's first off it's a God thing, but then secondly it's also who God puts in your life and relationships. And so kind of a little bit of the backstory. I am a I you know I am a podcaster, but I also keep up with some of the other podcasters and seeing what's actually going on. And I'm on social media now. I know y'all see me on social media, but I'm trolling for knowledge. I'm trolling for what's trending. I'm trolling for what people need, what the questions they're asking, what the pain points, as we say. What's
Yeah.
the information they're looking for? What's the direction? I can read trends by even if you don't ask the question. I can see where you're trying to go, where you're trying
Mhm.
to head. And so one of the major ones, of course, since we've seen a lot of pivot and change in the job market, in the business space. When Vanessa and I first I'm going to be honest with you, when we first started publishing our books, and 17 years ago was like, how do you do that? I want to know how to do that. Oh, I've never seen that. And then when we said we actually established our publishing companies, like registered them, and actually with the state of Indiana, for so many years. Oh, I've never heard of a black publisher and a female too. Who really? What? And I actually had a school principal say, Dr. Orson is a unicorn. She's she's like she's not normal. Like she's not, and so therefore, but over time, over the last 17, 18 years, the market is crowded. And people have jumped in. They've seen profitability of it. We've taught them. We've taught them.
Yeah.
And they taught others and so on and so on. And so therefore, we're not just talking about writing and publishing tonight. We're just talking about being in business, period. What that actually looks like. And so I'm like, Vanessa, we need to go live and really talk about that. Because there's some people that are gonna dip their toe in, and there's some people that have done it for a long time. They've done the side hustle. To my, oh girl, it's just some my Christmas money. This is my Christmas savings. This is my I need a little chunk change. I need a new outfit. I need, they dub their toe in. But then after so long, you realize, wait a minute, this is profitable.
Hmm.
And not only is just what I want to do, fun, passion, I love it, but now you're being forced to. You're facing it in different stages. The market is different and we're heading in a new direction. Technology may be replacing you, may not, but it may be. Um, and then you're also looking at the age thing. Like you could retire at 62, but do you, with the economy such as it is, the money keeps going up higher and your paycheck is like, wait a minute, the ends used to meet, like good, it might be overlapping, but now they just they barely tapping in because your income level stays the same, but the high cost of things goes up higher and higher and higher. So let's talk about in business and redefine. What does that look like? What should that be like today as opposed to what it's looked like in the past? Now, I'm like Vanessa. When I first started the publishing company, it was just for me. I wasn't planning on publishing anybody, and probably for a year or two, I did say no. I was like, oh no, 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 no. I don't even know
Me
enough.
too.
I don't even, yeah, like I don't know enough. And but then somebody said the magic words. No, I don't want you to teach me. I don't want to learn. I'm gonna pay you. Mm. So that makes a difference. So let's talk traditionally, because I've been in corporate America, Vanessa's been in corporate America, but making that shift and pivot, like we learned that new big word in
Hmm.
2020. So what did it look like for you moving from corporate to now full-time entrepreneurship?
Well, I had an interesting little section in the middle. So I moved from corporate. My background is in chemical engineering. So I worked for Amoco Oil Company for 13 years. They were quote unquote bought out by British Petroleum or merged with British Petroleum. Really was it was a buyout. They just didn't tell us that. But so I went from that to full time ministry, working at the church that I was a part of. And I did that full time for about 5 years. And then I came home and worked on my business. Uh, Corporate politics has nothing on church politics. Church politics is that's a whole nother conversation, okay?
Exactly.
That's a whole
Exactly.
nother conversation. Uh,
Yeah.
so one of the things that I think is critical for people who are looking at the entrepreneurial journey, because as you said, Julia, there's so many things now that is causing us to rethink our economics, at 62. I mean, and you see it all
Yeah.
over the place. You see 60, 70, 80 year olds still out there working,
Absolutely.
even getting social security. There's a gentleman at our neighborhood grocery store, and I'm sure maybe he's doing this because he loves it. But this man is like 92 years old,
Wow.
bagging groceries.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, you have to start thinking about what are some other streams of income? What are some other ways of doing things? And so, some of those things that you were doing that you were just doing it for fun and you
Yeah.
may have made a few dollars on the side. Now it's like, okay, I need to look at how to make this work.
Yeah.
And then in the last year or so, and Julia, you may know the number, better than I do. There's what, 600,000 black women?
600,000. Yeah. I saw
Oh,
that number the other day. It's
yeah,
600,000. Yeah.
who have come out of the corporate job
Job
market,
market.
and
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily because they wanted to.
Right.
They were forced out. So
Right.
now they have to figure out how to take their wisdom, how to take their experience, and now turn that into a viable business.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's not hard to do, but it's not easy, if that
No.
makes sense.
Mm-mm.
It's definitely, you can definitely get a plan to do it, but now you have to show up,
Yeah.
you have to implement.
Yep.
And that's a different mentality than when you were showing up for other people. We
Right.
tend to do that more than we do for ourselves.
Right. Well, we ease into it. The weight of it is on somebody else. And
Yeah,
so we turn our minds off and wait for instructions. But in
yeah,
entrepreneur journey, you can't turn your brain off. You can't
yeah,
turn your mind off.
yeah,
And Brian Royston fuzzes at me all the time when we're even trying to have a little vacation, staycation, whatever. Does your mind ever turn? No, boo, it don't. And
mhm,
I don't really want it to turn off too much. I
mhm.
know how to watch a movie and let's get popcorn and let's go out date night. I can do that, but
Yeah,
completely turn my mind off. Don't take my napkin because I might have wrote some notes on it. I might wrote something down on
yeah,
it. Hold on. Let me put some notes in
yeah,
my phone. I'll come back to it later. But rethinking that is totally different today. It's not a I want to one day I'm dream of. No, no, no. That mortgage is looking at you.
right,
That bill is looking at you.
right,
The babies you got, they looking at you.
right.
And how we gonna eat, how we gonna survive, and how we gonna do that. Now, this is not to scare you. This is to make sure that you don't, even if you still have a job, even if you're still working for someone, and not one of the 600,000 that you're saying, okay, if this were all the way to go tomorrow, what would I do? I had to challenge a young woman still working in corporate America, and she said, "No, I'm still there." I said, "Well, but baby, when you see thousands of people moving, you can't just relax and say, I'm not going anywhere. It could happen to you because you're seeing it all around you.
Yeah,
You're seeing it happen to other
yeah.
people.
Gotta
So
have a
what
plan.
is that? It could happen. We don't want it to. God knows I don't.
Yeah,
I don't want it to happen to you. But what's your backup plan? They used to teach us in corporate when you start seeing high level people moved, and it's not a lateral promotion, and we're in the conference room with a big cake and cupcakes, and that when Brian retired, it was Brian and bagels and the whole 9 yard bagels with Brian or whatever. No, they just
yeah,
one day are no longer here, and they didn't pass away. They're
yeah,
and they moved on, and they still had the whole somebody else took their slot, and
mhm,
your nameplate comes off the door and all the things. And so what does that look like? Now I'm a little bit different too, in that my father had a business. He taught school
mhm.
in the daytime. He was an educator, but we cleaned buildings at night. In the summertime, my mother did a maid service, and we cleaned houses. We house cleaned houses, and we did all the things. So being bivocational, having something else to do, I've always done that. And just that hang out, nothing to do. Me and my sister be like, we don't gotta go nowhere. Like we don't have to clean up nothing, because it would be five of us. If
Mhm.
somebody didn't show or somebody couldn't do the bank that night, because we had 23 banks that we cleaned. And so
Wow.
we were swooping there. Everybody had a job. Even my little youngest sister, she had a job. Everybody had a job. We could get in and out of there in no time flat. But everybody doesn't have that
Right.
background. Like you don't all everybody didn't have that backstory. So I know what that's like at 14 to be typing letters and answering the phone and typing contracts and stuff. But everybody doesn't have that. So man, what are the first two things? Because if you want to deep dive, it's a paid session, and go to vanessacollinsllc.com
Mhm.
and schedule a conversation and take it there. because we over here we don't believe in picking brains for free, and we do offer resources. And I feel like I'm not going to be a gatekeeper to take your time and don't feel like that I'm adding value to you. But to go to a deep dive, we got you. We got you. One or two things that really should start you on your journey in this new business environment.
So I think the first thing you have to look at is, what are the problems that you can solve? I know a lot of times people jump out the gate with, oh, I like to do this. Therefore, this is what my business is going to be around. And that's cool and that's great. But at some point, you're going to have to find customers if you
Yeah.
want to make money.
Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur, we are paid to solve problems. And so, one of the mindset shifts that we have to work on is seeing things through the lens of, what problem does this solve? Now, it could be the same thing that you enjoy doing. Okay. It could be the exact same thing. But when you can see it under the lens of, or in the lens of, what problem does it solve, that helps you convey the message so that you can get people to pay you to solve that problem. Now, I always talk about the bottom line of business, which is very simple. You have a product or a service that you are trying to get into the hands of your potential client in exchange for compensation.
Yep.
It is very simple.
Yep.
Now, both of us are in ministry. Now, there are times where you have a problem, or you have a product or a service and you are giving it out there and you are not looking for anything in return. That is philanthropy, that's charity, that's foundations. Julia has a foundation, she
Yep.
does all of that, and that's great. That is absolutely great. But that is not what this conversation is about.
Nope. Nope.
This
Nope.
conversation is about making money in your business, being an entrepreneur. So you got to figure out what problem that you solve. And then the next thing that I think is really important is looking at the systems that you can use to help you deliver that solution,
Yeah.
because you can solve a problem, but if you're not solving it in the way that meets your client's needs, you're going to end up with a solution that no one can use.
Yes.
So I'm sure you guys remember, because we're in the over 50 club over here, we're now in the over
Come on.
60
Come
club
on.
over
Ooh,
here. Okay.
ooh, 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 ooh.
But back in the day, y'all remember the encyclopedia salesman?
Oh yeah.
Listen, if you had a set of encyclopedias, you was it on the block. Okay,
Yep.
you was part of the in crowd, because everybody, my set of encyclopedias, well, they weren't new. They was a friend of my mama found them in the thrown away somewhere. So I didn't have a new set. Okay. But I had a set, which put me
Mhm.
above some other folks that didn't even have a set.
Right.
And there would be, the salesman would come, and if you had children and they needed to have this information without having to go to the library or whatever, here was a solution. They didn't have to go to the library to
Nope.
look up and stuff in the encyclopedias. They could have the encyclopedias right here at home. So that solved a problem. Now we still have parents who have children that need information, but an encyclopedia salesman is going to do very poorly trying to sell encyclopedias right now. And that is because times have changed. So the way that information is packaged, the system that is being used has to change. The old system was it was in a book and it would be delivered to your door. Now they can get the information from their phone. They get
Absolutely.
the information from the computer. They still need to know the information, but how you deliver it is different. And
Yeah.
so those are the two things among many. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes in between there, but you got to first start out with what's the problem that I solve? That's
Yep.
going to answer the question of is this marketable? Will
Yes.
somebody pay me for this?
Yes.
And I don't want you to overthink this. I don't want you to think like, oh, nobody would ever pay me for this. If you have the right message, if you package it in the proper way, people will pay you for it. I,
Absolutely.
I remember back in the day, Julia, the joke used to be about paying for water. Who would
Yep.
ever pay for water?
Yep.
Who would back in the day? And again, we're in the over 60 crowd over here. So if you are watching us on the replay, if you're watching us live, kind of tap in, kind of comment in if you remember back in the day where the joke was, who would pay for water? If you was walking around or something and you was thirsty, you better find
A
a
green hose.
you better find a hose. You better find a water fountain. You
That's
better
it.
find something. But then somebody decided to package
Yeah.
this water.
Oh,
Well, what
my
was the
Lord.
problem that is solved? Well, if you're out there running, if you are out there on the go, here's this water. And when you look at when you price how much per gallon
Yep.
water would cost
Yep.
when price it at the little 8 ounces or the little 16 ounces.
Hmm. That water thing, isn't that a beautiful thing? I'll
It
tell
was
you what.
crazy.
It is. It is. And Big Mama would be like, "What
I
you mean we not paying
remember
for water? What you mean we?"
I remember the old folks, the old church mamas, when you would ask them if they wanted a bottle of water. A bottle of water? Who's gonna pay for a bottle of water? Oh my goodness.
Baby, today they are. They paid for jugs. When I lived in Lafayette at Purdue, because the water was so hard, that was the first thing to go off the shelf. Forget the bread and the eggs. They could get that. But baby,
Yeah.
the water was going. They was going. So yeah, the shelves are empty. But what problem do you want to solve? And my first client, that was her problem. No, I don't wanna. I don't want to learn. I don't want to be in class. I don't want to do it. And of course, the beauty of it, it was a poetry book like mine. I just done it. So she knew I could do it because
Mhm.
she seen me do it before. I already done it. So I'm like, Jesus, Jesus, old folks, Jesus, Jesus, help me. I didn't feel like I had enough experience, but I had done it. And I got better and better at it over time. So
Absolutely.
solving the problem and then having a systems to solve the problem. But my thing is having the time, making the time to do it. A lot of people, oh, I'm busy. Oh, I don't have time to. Well, okay, well then, don't if you're not flexible with your calendar, if you don't know how to manipulate your calendar to be able to do it, then business is really not for you
Yep.
because yeah, you have to have borders and parameters. You can't work 24 hours a day, although sometimes I feel like it. But anyway, I digress. But you have to have time for it. You have to make time for it. Whatever you're going to be doing, whoever you're going to be servicing, you're going to have time for it. Now, when I worked a full-time job, my time to talk to you was between 4 and probably 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Well, that worked at the time because you probably had to work that day and couldn't talk to people all day. You weren't full time either. So it worked. Now I can schedule my calendar however I want to, but then 4 o'clock, BK Royston Publishing. This is Julia Royston. How can I help you? And then we started. I had the time to it. I set aside the time to do it. And then getting the tools to be able to do it. technology and things of that nature. So, what does your problem require? What are the tools that it's going to require for you? What do you need?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, I don't know how to do that. Well, then you're going to have to learn. Well, I don't know how to do it. Well, then there's a class for that. And I know Vanessa has Collins has a class, and I'll have a class. And if we don't have a class, we'll get a class together and we'll teach you. Because the thing about it is, in today's market, in today's society, we don't really have the, what I want to say, the limitations that other people do. We don't. We just don't. We can decide we want to have a class in July or August, and we put the systems together. We
Yeah.
find that there's a need. There's been a request. Oops, we have a problem, and then I'm going to help you solve it. And I'll put up a class and offer it. Link. It may not be perfect the first time, but I'm gonna get that link to work, and you'll be able to pay for it and get the tools that you need, get the information you need, get the
Yeah.
resources that you need to solve that problem. And so, the mindset has to shift. The talking about it is just, it's not going to do no. I mean, it's not going to really do any good. Just talking about it. Now, emergencies arise and lifes, and we have to
Mm-hmm.
put a pause. We don't have the budget for that right now, but at least we know what it takes. Bible clearly says, count up the cost before you get ready to do something. At least know what it takes. Know what it entails. And so, my other thing is, have a conversation with someone who actually does what you're wanting to do, who actually
Yeah.
does solve that problem too, as well. Because a lot of times people start things, I didn't know what I didn't know, but did you ask somebody?
Right.
Even if you had to pay for a session, an hour session, or even if you say, I got
Mhm.
this much money, or I can't do the whole thing, but I can get you a $50 gift card. Or somebody said, I just have to thank you in some way. I said, I love Starbucks. You can give me a sip. And they've done that too. But there's ways to say thank you, tangible
Yeah.
ways to say thank you, but get the information that you need so that you can be profitable, so that you can solve a problem, you can establish a system to solve
Yeah.
that problem that meets the need of the person who's in trouble, because they're going to be willing to pay for it. And making sure that it's competitive, because I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are trying to almost do the robbery, like I'm gonna mark it up so high. No, that won't work either. Know your worth. I get that. I mean,
Yes.
our coach told us about charging too low and all that, but then sometimes there's a charging too high too as well. So
Yeah.
making sure that the price point is marketable, somebody's willing to pay. Okay, so let's talk about the big game changer. The big game.
Woo.
Let's talk about the game changer.
AI. Yes. 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 Yes.
So you go ahead and start, because I was like, Vanessa and I are like, "Ooh, did you see that?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and I can't get down to that right now. You go find it out, and then you come back and tell me, and then I'll learn from you. But
Absolutely.
you talk about game
We
changer, baby doll.
listen, AI is a game changer, and don't let anybody tell you differently. Okay, it is. It absolutely is. It is not anything to be afraid of in terms of. Well, I take that back. I mean, there's some interesting things out there, but AI is a tool. You are still the one in charge. Now, everyone talks about AI, replacing jobs and replacing people. And I heard someone say, and I can't even remember his name, but he was some big wig in the whole AI space. And he said that AI isn't going to take your job. Someone who knows how to use AI is going to take your job.
Yeah,
And that is across the board. That is whether you are in corporate, that is whether you are an independent contractor. If you are not on top of this and still going back to, for your clients, for your customers, what's the problem that they have? How can I package a solution? Those things are still there.
Yeah.
So here's a big shift that I've seen, and I don't know how the graphic designers are doing, how y'all
Yeah.
doing out there,
The
the
illustrators.
the cover designers, because
Yeah, the
these are the ones
illustrators,
that we
yeah. The
kind of have
flyer
worked
people,
with,
yeah. Yeah.
the social media managers, and all of that. If you are still trying to solve the problem the same way you did 6 months ago, which, in AI terms, that's like, 7 years ago, so like
Absolutely.
dog years.
Absolutely.
If you're still trying to package your solutions in the same way, you're going to be behind.
Yeah.
Uh, while those of you who may be watching us, if you're in the business space, if you're in the online space, it seems like everybody is using AI. But when you get off of the computer, when you get outside of the business space and you talk to regular, everyday people, I am still shocked that there are so many people who have not used ChatGPT, who
Yeah.
have not tried to use an AI system uh, intentionally.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you use Alexa, you're using an AI system. If you're using
Absolutely.
Siri, you're using an AI system. So they're using it, but they're not necessarily using it to benefit them. At this point, you need to be looking at how AI can help you do your job better and be able to do more of your job so that the offers that you make can help solve bigger problems.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
bigger the problems we solve, the more money we get.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And the other thing too is that, it especially for those starting out and those just getting going and getting, you just don't have the budget yet. You're not known enough yet. You don't have as many clients yet, but you still are going to need to be able to compete in one way or another. You're still going to need professional documentation. You're going to need contracts. You're going to need to protect your brand, even if
Yep,
you're not worried about, oh, I got this colors and logo and all that. There's still some things that you have to protect, and there's still some things that you need to know, and there's still
yep,
some terminology that can help guide you to as well. And I know a lot of people, I'm a purist. I don't want to work with an illustrator who uses even AI to enhance some things. I don't want to use AI for someone who's written a book. Well, even if AI wrote the whole thing, the author's still going to have to know what's in it. It's still going to have to be able to convey what the message is. And I realize that the conversation about the copyright, they're still trying to work that all out and figure that all out. The other part is, people have pirated my books and used it in AI businesses, and yeah, the suits are going on, and the people
yep.
are going to pay, and they have been paying, and they will continue to pay. Every tool that's ever been out has been demonic. My grandmother didn't have a TV in her house.
Because it was
Yeah,
demonic.
that's what I'm talking about. She had
Yep,
the radio and she would take the newspaper, but she felt like that the TV was demonic.
yep.
So therefore, each new tool, each new one that comes out can be manipulated and can be
Absolutely.
used for bad. All of it, any of it
Absolutely.
can. But being afraid to know what it does, how it can benefit you, how it operates, and I'll never use that app, baby. No, you Google is using it. Gemini,
Absolutely.
hello, all of the things. It's here.
All the things, and that's what I'm saying.
All
If you're using a phone,
yeah,
unless you are, sending stuff by carrier pigeon, if you are using a phone,
yeah,
you are using AI.
yeah,
And that's the thing. I mean, your doctor's using AI, your
yeah, yeah,
lawyer's
yeah,
using AI, the teachers who are teaching your children are using
yeah,
AI.
yeah,
Now, here's the warning though that I have to give entrepreneurs, and I battle this sometimes with my clients. AI does not know everything.
Yeah.
And it can be very convincing when it's telling you something, and it could be wrong. You still have to understand the process. If you are using it for email marketing, if you're using it for social media, you still have to understand the foundations of email marketing. You still have to understand how to do the things, because Claude and Chatty will tell you something and it'll be like, oh, yes, this is what you need to do. And it'll just break it on down. And if you ever push back on it and say, well, no, I don't think this is how you should do it, if y'all looked at my chat GPT, y'all would think that, we just always arguing, or I'm always arguing. Because it always comes back with, Vanessa, you're absolutely right.
I
You
know.
really should change that. I mean,
Oh
it
Lord.
gaslights you. And that's the other thing. It will gaslight you, okay? It
Yeah.
will make you think that whatever idea you have is an amazing
It
idea.
will. Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
mean, you can come up with some really crazy stuff, and it will tell you it's designed to kind of, let's show you how you can do this. But
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that it is, if that stuff is true,
Yeah. Or
okay,
100%. Yeah.
or 100%.
Yeah.
AI can do a whole lot of things, but it does not understand how people actually operate in
Yeah.
certain conditions. It
Absolutely.
can come up with theories, but you know your business. You should know your business. You
Yeah.
should know your clients. You should know the problem you solve and how they're going to get those solutions. I don't care how good of a business plan Chatty or Claude gives you for an underwater basket weaving course. I want to tell you, you may want to check. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
You
just
may want to
saying,
think about
you just may want to think about it, because it may come up with, listen, this is like the best thing in the world.
it.
But
Yeah.
you probably may need to see if you can really find some folks that's
Yeah,
looking
and
for
it does have the
underwater.
disclaimer at the bottom. Whatever you use, it does say, "I could be
Absolutely.
wrong. I could be wrong. I could be,
But
and
we
you
don't look
know."
at that. That disclaimer reminds me of the disclaimers that's been on cigarette packs
Oh
forever.
Lord,
We
yeah.
can kill you.
I know. You can die.
Right.
I'm like,
So,
really? You want? And the medicine, the pharmaceutical, and it has all this long arm length amount of side effects. I'm like, I don't know what I want. That medicine is supposed to cure one thing, but it could cause like 25. Oh, never mind. And that announcer is talking real fast, and it may cause it. It may cause. I'm like, no, that's okay. I'll wait till y'all get a little bit more proof and do a lot more research and development. And that's what you need to be doing, is doing your homework,
you
doing
still
your
have to do
research,
it. You
because
still
AI is
have to.
changing things all the time, every day, but you still have to
Yeah.
get back to your why, back to the core, back to the initial.
Yeah.
What problem am I going to solve?
Yeah.
And what system am I going to use to solve that problem? And each of the AIs have their strengths and weaknesses. They do. Uncle Google has his strength and now we love Google. Now, Uncle Google, we love it. But there are sometimes when Uncle Google comes back with just ads. Like, where is the actual? Wait a minute, I gotta flip through and get to page two or
Yep.
three. So there are things in the world that technology does not know and does not know yet. Now it's
Yeah.
learning, but are you learning? Are you
Right.
continue to grow and expand? Because even after 18 years, I don't know everything. I sure don't. Lord knows I don't. Only God knows everything. So I'm still like, did you know? And of course, the policies change as
Yes.
institution policies change. The copyright office had to decide. We got to determine, are we going to cover AI materials and or we're not. And they have said no, they're not.
Right.
They're not. So if it's totally AI, it will not be covered by copyright. Okay, so that's almost like public domain. May not be labeled as public domain, but that's
Right.
for public domain. And then you've got the copyright laws, they stop. Like 70 years, that's it. And it's covered. So some of the big celebrity trademarked brands that we know and love, their trademarks are coming up for grab. The
Yeah,
copyrights
yeah,
are closing. That it's
yeah,
so time has continued to move. Who knew I'd be 63? I thought I'd be flying around heaven somewhere, but we still here. So there's things that we have to continue to learn. And that's a part of the time, tools, and resources is professional.
absolutely.
You cannot just, as the old folks say, bury your head in the sand and don't keep up with it. There's a lot of free resources out there. There are
Yeah,
paid resources as well. But if you're really going to solve a problem and you're
yeah,
really going to get better at it, you may not be the best, but you're going to be really good at it. Then you're going to have to keep up with it.
absolutely.
Do
You
professional.
mentioned something, Julia, that I want to just kind of tag in on for just a minute. And that is something that we don't often think about as entrepreneurs is the legacy piece of
Mm,
our business.
mm,
You mentioned the whole copyright thing. And for authors out there, both Julia and I have had the unpleasant experience of
absolutely.
having an author die on us.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
No,
just
no,
weirdos
no, no
decided to
good
go
way,
on
no bad
home.
way to, yeah, no.
They just decided to go on home. And they did not necessarily, I know for the author that I'm talking about, it took his wife a year to find me
Yeah.
because he knew my email address, and I had published his book like 5 years prior to this. He was a young man, it was a drive-by shooting. He was just an innocent bystander.
Yeah.
But his wife didn't understand, or he didn't understand, and we don't always understand the importance of our intellectual property.
Yes.
So where you have those important papers, where you have, the life insurance and the bank statements and all of that information, if you are an author, you also need to have the KDP login, the
Yep.
Amazon login. You
Yep.
need to have, a list of your books and the royalties. What bank is those
Yeah.
royalties going into?
Yes.
That means that if something happens, your family can't be closing that bank account out quickly,
No. No.
because if they close that bank account, Amazon is going to just have your royalties, and they're just
Yeah.
going to be sitting there.
Yeah.
And
And
trust me, they're not going to try to find
no,
your
no. And did
folks.
you
They're
know
not
that
going to try.
it's in your sign up thing that if unclaimed royalties is just theirs?
I
I
didn't
gotta I gotta
realize
dig
that.
that one out. I gotta dig that one out. That one I got to look up. I said, is that true? I do have to dig with it. Don't quote me on that one, but I gotta dig that out.
Well, I
That
mean, it makes sense, because if nobody claims them, it's not like they're going to necessarily, turn them over to the government.
no,
Uh,
they're not.
yeah. So think about that in terms of your entrepreneurship. In business, in corporate, we didn't have to worry about this,
Yeah.
because when you ended, your job ended.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff ended. As an entrepreneur, that's not the same.
Mm-mm.
So I remember I just got my first trademark. Yay!
Yay!
The
Woo-hoo,
monetized author is trademark. And
yay!
the letter that I got from our trademark attorney, shout out uh, to Tony.
Tony, yay!
Tony Moore,
Woo,
shout out
woo,
to
woo,
Tony
woo,
Moore.
woo, woo.
She sent a letter in there that detailed, okay,
Yes.
between years 5 and 7, you're going to get something from the copyright office. Is going to be to the email address, and you're going to have to prove that you're using this. And then every 10 years after that, it's going to come. That means that I have to leave strict instructions
Yes.
that whoever is taking over my estate, and of course, we don't think of
No.
our intellectual property is part of our estate. We think,
But it
okay,
is.
whatever little money I got in the bank, that'll be over with, and
Mhm.
that's done. But part of your estate is your books and your
Yeah.
intellectual property.
Yep.
So my folks are gonna have to know that they're gonna have to keep my email alive unless
Yeah.
they go to the trademark office
Right.
and change over the email address to somebody
Yeah.
else,
Yeah.
which means that your domain name needs to still be alive. Somebody got to know that when that GoDaddy domain comes up every year, that needs to be renewed.
Right. You got to keep money in there if it has an automatic withdrawal. So you got to, the
Exactly.
money got to be in there. Oh my Lord. It just got to, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. 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 And
So
I've
think
had,
about the
yeah,
legacy of your business. Just think about that.
absolutely. The legacy of your business, your intellectual property, those recipes. Yeah. It's not just your clothes and jewelry and the house and, oh, we just going to sell it and get the money. But intellectual property, I had to learn that vastly. Like, what? We got to do what? And so, therefore, think about that. I'm hoping that the tragedy of COVID and 2020 helped us to recognize that. My mother still says, "You know where everything is. It's in the purple folder. Y'all know where it's at," and we do. But if she had books, if she had intellectual property, we would need to know more than just where the purple folder and the life insurance is and where that
Yeah.
policy is. We need to know. That's really, really very, very key to the next level, because if you don't have access to the bank account and you can't get the royalties and you can't, yeah, all of the things. And that's a conversation for definitely another time. But this is a part of it. I worked for attorneys for years, and there was an intellectual property division. And I knew a little bit, but I didn't know a lot because I hadn't written my first book then. But now, having written books, many books, it's time to make sure that I had to do it. That, yeah, I did my trademark too. Thank God it was at an event Vanessa had and Tony Moore. I was like, okay, I got to do it. I can't just be letting it go willy nilly out here. I got to get my papers. I got to get my stuff in order, being able to do that. So, last thing, the last thing I really want to talk about is the know, like, and trust, building relationships. At the top, when we first started talking, we talked about a divine connection, divine uh, relationship that God put together. Now, over the years, she could have moved here and she didn't have to reach out to me, and I didn't have to reach out to her. But it was so like, this is unusual. This is one of those God nudges, God inspired, God directed thing, because I was there to sing. I hadn't really done books, and I think I had one, maybe two that I'd written. I really wasn't thinking
Mhm.
about that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, her church was the first one where I ever had the church and the pastor buy out everything I had left over. So the deacon stood there. This is like one of the biggest
It's the
testimonies
marsh.
I've ever had. I never had that happen. Never. That was the first. And so we were like, and the deacon says, "Has everybody been through? Is this all you have left?" And I said, "Yeah, this is all I have left." He said, "Do you have any in the car?" Uh, yes, sir. He said, "Go and get what you got in the car." Brian was like, "Well, why am I going to get in the car?" I was like, "Brian, go get everything that's in that little container
You said, "Bill, baby,
car." He's like,
you
"What?"
knew where it was moving. It was
I know. I
moving.
was like, "Oh no, wait a minute. We didn't." As they say, the old folks said, we done tapped into something different.
Yeah, we done moved
Well,
into the prophetic now.
Brian back then, he knows a lot more now. Now he's like, he just moves. Like, what? We don't what? Well, what do you there's still stuff on. I said, go to the car and get what's in the car. Get the container, the things that I have left, and he bought everything that was on the table. They wrote out a check and handed me the check. Now, other people had bought things, and I was like, "Oh, this is a good day." But after that, I was like, "Okay, wait a minute. I'm in the miracle. I done tapped into the miracle arena because I had never seen that done for me." So relationships like that are not just money relationships, but there's sometimes it's a, I don't know where your faith walk is, but it's a spiritual connection too as
Yeah.
well. That you're tapping in, not only, yay, I sold out everything, they took everything off my table, and I had a check in my hand. I'm like, what just happened? But besides that, there is a different shift in mindset. There's a different shift in direction. And when you're moving in a different direction, sometimes you have to move with different people. Now, we love everybody because we can't get to heaven without loving everybody. But everybody can't go on your entrepreneur journey. Everybody can't be with you. So it is, the currency is connected to relationships, doing business with people you know, like, and trust. Because you start where you start. I mean, off. If you follow me on social media at all, sometimes I will post. Do you see what this first logo looked like? Do you see the what? Do you see what that first book cover? And I done changed the cover like 2 or 3 times because we grow.
Yes.
But everybody can't go with you when you grow. Everybody can't be with you. Sometimes it's sabotage, and sometimes they're just trying to protect you. They love you and they're trying to protect you. But on a inspirational, spiritual, mental, and emotional level, because my friends who know me a long time, they're like, girl, she busy. Girl, she, yeah, because I got somewhere to go. I got you doing you and I'm doing you, but I love you forever. I'm praying for you. If you need me, call me, text me first, probably, because I never know where I'm gonna be and if I can answer the phone. But the point is that making sure you're establishing relationships, being in relationships that are reciprocal and beneficial and not
Yeah.
toxic. And sometimes you need God to bring them. Sometimes you say, Lord, bring me, bring me my team. And I've had to do that. Bring me the people that are supposed to walk alongside me in this space. We can always do the, hey girl, and how you doing? Oh my gosh, you look good. Oh my gosh, I saw your child. Is it time for them to graduate already? You can, those base level foundational relationships are with, how's your mama? How's your daddy? How's Big Mama? Everybody doing all right? All right, you can leave it there. But when it's time to take a deep dive, it's a different space. It's a different, so I say, okay, man, it's me and you, because you understand we walking this together. God put us together to walk this together 17 years ago.
Yes.
And we still walking this together. And so therefore, what does that look like? And asking God to bring you a tribe and bring you a team. And I'm going to be quite transparent with you and say there have been plenty of people who've tried to break up the team, who didn't like the team too good, didn't like it how it was working and flowing. And did it get confusing? Not for us. It does, might you on the outside, but it don't get confusing for us. We good. And it's very, very difficult. And they want to pit one against the other and the competition suggestion and all that. No, we good. Y'all good. We good.
Yep. Yep.
So no,
Absolutely.
like, and trust relationships for you. Vanessa, what does that look like?
I think the piece I want to talk about is because you've talked about working with those people. People buy from those they know, like, and trust, and finding your team. And I want to encourage all of us to be that person that folks can know, like, and trust. Which means that in this business realm, uh, are you trustworthy? Uh, your integrity. How are you showing up in spaces? And this is something Julia and I used to have to deal with our clients all the time, is how they showed up in the public sphere, in social media. I want you to think about the fact that even where you are right now, uh, even if you're not in business, but you're thinking about, okay, I think, maybe in a year or two, I may be out there. Then make sure you're showing up as if somebody may be looking back at what you have posted now. They may be looking back at that 2 years from now.
Yeah.
So, think about those names. Julia and I used to joke because we would have these folks that, now they've decided they want to write a book and they want to do this. but their social media handle is delicious 237 or
Yeah.
something crazy.
Chocolate mama
And
and all them ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
think about what it is that you can do, how you show up, so that you can be that person that people purchase from, because people buy from those they know, like, and trust.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're in the digital space. And I know a lot of people are just like, I just want to post it and everybody buy it. And no, I wish I had some magical formula. I probably wouldn't be working it nearly as hard. But I do like the idea. Sometimes I want it to move faster, but I do like the idea that at the end of the day, I've actually done it. Whether it worked out like I thought, but at least I have that knowledge. You can't take that away from me. Yep, you can make
And
more
we
money
did it
than
with
me.
integrity.
Yeah, I mean, you
And
can
we
make more
did it
money
with
than me. You do all of
integrity.
that. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. But it's like, after so long, I know what happened. And I know who I'm to attract, and I know whose system and problem I solve and the system that I'm using to solve that problem. And I really want to encourage everybody before we end tonight. Think about it. Think about what problem you want to solve.
Yeah.
Don't see the vast people doing exits and say, "Oh, I hope it's not me." No, prepare. Get yourself together. Look at your calendar. Pray. Seek God. Ask. Inquire. I tell people all the time when the last 3 years before I retired, I announced it in the faculty that I got somewhere to go. I love y'all, but I'm not gonna be eating in here with y'all. I'm not. I love y'all. I don't have nothing against nobody. Nobody make me mad. I hope I don't make nobody else mad. But I'll be eating in the computer lab. If you need me, come on in there. Because that 20 minutes, you only get 20 minutes for lunch. But that 20 minutes I was using on my free time to make
You're
notes,
listening to
plan.
webinars and
Girl, we
all
were
of
doing it. I had one earpiece in one ear and yeah, typing with the left hand and listening with the other. I mean, when you have somewhere you really want to go and something you really want to do, show me. Show me. So, sidebar, we were at Vanessa and I were together. No, it wasn't the one I just posted, but where were we? Were we in? We flown, so we must have been in Florida. We went through, yeah, it was Florida that time, and we both were speakers. And I don't even know
that
what
was
got.
Indianapolis. I think that was
Mm-mm, that was Indianapolis. We posted, but another
okay.
time we were in Florida,
Okay.
and I don't know what happened to
Hmm.
me. I guess since I yelled out at Vanessa's church, I done started that yelling out, and the little girl was talking about she was into fashion, and I'm like, I don't see it though. I stopped the poor little girl in the middle. I said, I don't see it. What you saying you're doing clothes, and I am so proud of her, Valisha Tull. If you ever want somebody to go through your closet and help you get your style together, I am so proud because she is a stylist, the stylist with the most. I mean, doing the thing, partnering with stores, doing everything. I was like, show me. I don't see it. I don't what the next day she showed up, totally different outfit, because she said, okay, somebody has, you know, challenged me. And I challenge but I inbox her all the time. Girl, doing oh, you look gorgeous. Oh, you're doing your thing. I'm so proud. Because, she showed us. So show me what you want to solve. Show me what you love to do. Show me. And the money will come to you. If you do it, show up for quality, integrity, it'll find you, it'll hunt you down. It will come to you. Now there are things you have to learn, systems you'll have to put in place. And some people have the business and the system, that whole Oprah effect where everything crashes and they're like, wait a minute, I did one advertisement and my whole server blew up. That's a good problem. We can fix that because we now got the money to fix that. But in the meantime, what is it? So that's what I challenge it. What is it? What's that thing? What's the thing that gets you up in the morning early? What's the thing that keeps you up late at night? Not the problem, not how you gonna solve it. So Vanessa did this one time. We were, I don't know, we've been in so many events together, but she said she gave us each a index card, And she said, if money was no object, if you did not have to worry about no bills, what would you be doing? So I leave with
I
that.
remember that.
You remember
I
that?
remember that.
I
Yeah,
still
I
do it.
remember that.
I give you credits. I always do. My friend Vanessa, I do it. I've done it. What would you be doing if money is no object
Mm-hmm.
and bills are that's all taken care of? Girl, I work this job for bills. We all do. We that's what we doing. But if that wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
problem, what would you be doing? How would you be helping other people? Because I think sometimes that's, oh, I'd just be sitting by the pool. I wouldn't be doing. But how would you? This is not a business problem. That's just a personal choice.
Yeah.
But for a business problem, how would you be showing up, helping other
Yeah.
people? What would you be doing? Because this in business today is changing. I just had a conversation before we went live, and they were like, "Ooh, what happened to the get a job, stay 30 years, and I said, and get a watch and get a trophy? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be wanting to
Yeah.
work, and there won't be no job to go to. So what does that look like? And God gives us power to get well. Vanessa Collins, is always a pleasure. I hope
It
we
is
always leave the people thinking like, "Ooh, what we gonna do?" We always leave the people going, "Ooh." That's what I want to leave you thinking. Looking now, you see why God put us together, right? We think outside the box. We challenge each other to no, because I didn't want to do my. I knew Vanessa was gonna come up with a brilliant plan. I was like, "Oh, Vanessa, I'm gonna do." She goes, "No, you're gonna build all them websites from scratch." No, yeah, yeah. I was like, "No, no, and no, and no, and no. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that." She goes, "Nope, you're gonna build them from scratch, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna go walk." So, accountability, partnership, whatever, all the good things.
so
I'm,
important.
I'm telling you to be a part of digital mastery. Honey, I've been in digital mastery for since it started, forever. So I'm,
2016.
I'm, I'm a seventh grade.
Listen, October is our 10th year anniversary. I can't believe that. Yes,
Yes.
2016.
Wow.
I
10
know.
years.
Isn't that
Oh, Lord.
crazy?
Well, that's what happens when you continue to show up every day and pivot and do all the things. I know 2020, I'm like, man, are we gonna be open? I mean, we're gonna keep going. She goes, yeah, we're gonna keep going. Well, but I don't know. Ooh, that was one of my biggest years that year. God did that thing.
Absolutely.
It was, I mean,
Absolutely.
it was the beginning of the
Yeah.
what, you know. But I pray that for everybody who's listening, or you're gonna watch the replays, you're gonna hear it some other time. But think about it in business, handling your business. There's business out there to be had. There are 9 billion people on the planet who there are somebody who needs what you have to offer.
Yeah.
Package it,
Yes.
understand the problem, solve it, get a system to help solve it. Let AI be the game changer. Figure out how you're gonna work with it, and
Yeah.
it has been blessing me. I'm gonna tell you that it has been helping me in so many ways, so that I can be more efficient. And yes, I still work with people, and I still, you know, outsource things, but there are some things that I needed the efficiency of AI and what it can do, the tool it can do. And if I don't know what it can do, how am I gonna, I can't be afraid of something I don't even know how it works. Okay. All right. What's coming up, Vanessa? What you got going on? What's coming up next?
Ooh, let's see. Well, our latest book is out, The Unread Blessing. So this is a non-business book. We kind of went off the grid here, went back to the beginning. This is a book on the book of Revelation, and it's something I have taught for over 30 years. Finally got it into a book. So you can find more information about that at theunreadblessing.com. So we have that. And to answer the problem that people have said, and that is for entrepreneurs over 50, for those that have had to step away and are like coming back, or they're just starting and they're like, oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start. Like, where do I start? I have a 3-day boot camp that actually starts Monday, June 22nd, and is Digital Mastery 101. It is for the beginner who is just trying to figure out these business systems and what is what and funnel who and
Mm,
what's a CRM and
mm,
wait, how all this connect together.
mm.
Listen, if you have your websites and you're doing funnels and all of that, you don't need this. Pass this up. But if you're sitting there thinking, you know, I would start my business, but I don't even know where to start. Go to digitalmastery101.com and take a look and see if that could help you. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Dot,
Uh,
digitalmastery101.com.
mm-hmm. And then the book is theunreadblessing.com.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No
Didn't put the
problem.
D. Okay, go there and then I'll correct this other one. But yeah, I when she came out with that one, I was like, that is just like I want to read that under the covers, Revelation, like end times. But I know she's rolled it out real like, yeah, we needed this. We definitely needed this. So the unreadblessing.com is a beautiful
Yes.
site too as well. And then digital mastery 101.com. And if you're at the beginning stages and you haven't written a book yet and you're like, I've been thinking about it and somebody done laid me on the floor and told me about it and ooh, I know it. Oh, it's a stranger walked up to me and said, you should be writing a book. And then the prophet laid me on the floor. We start. We start. We start. Thursday night. Go to roystontrainingacademy.com and go ahead and register. And so you can begin writing your book. So you can do both. You can get your systems in order, and then you can get your book in order, and then we can move forward. All right, and get it done on Saturday. Meet me in Indianapolis at the Madam C.J. Walker Block Party right there in downtown, and I'm looking forward to it. It was a great time last year. Y'all pray the rain don't come through because we got to be outside. But otherwise, I got a tent to do it, to do the thing. And then last thing, just in time for Father's Day, our fathers love life and legacy. Purchase at roystonroyalbookstore.com. We're spotlighting fathers and those father figures. I know Mother's Day is, everybody's swinging for the rafters, and I did do a horrible thing. I sit out in the parking lot sometimes at the grocery store and see men running in there and getting flowers and all that. But it's our turn. Turn around, ladies. It's time to celebrate the men that have been influential in our life. And sometimes your father passed away and you needed somebody to fill in the gap, whether it was your husband, your uncle, a church member, a church deacon, somebody who filled in the gap and was that father figure for real, for real, for real, and filled in the gap for you. Celebrate them, honor them. I know there's the men don't get much heralding and yay, but let's do it. Let's do it this weekend. Let's and so myself and 14 other authors, including Mr. Brian Royston, which I'm very proud of, have compiled this. Everybody doesn't have just the whole, Mr. Cleaver story, but it is a celebration and a conscious look at fatherhood and at what it looks like and it means to the 15 of us. So get your copy, roystonroyalbookstore.com. Vanessa Collins, we could talk another hour, but it's past my bedtime already. No, I'm joking.
I know
It's
that's
past my
right.
y'all know it's past my bedtime already. But it's been a pleasure. Be sure and reach
Yes,
out,
Lord.
follow Vanessa online. Find Vanessa Collins LLC.com and all that she has going on, and so that it helps you with your business needs or even your business questions that you don't even know yet. And sometimes you need to be in the environment of other people that are moving forward, and especially in a safe space so that you can ask a question and you won't feel bad like, well, should I ask it? No, because we all learning together and we're all figuring it out as we go so that we can be profitable and we can live the best life that we can while still down on earth until God God comes and gets us. Yay! He comes back to get us. Until next time, be blessed in all that you do. Thank you again, Vanessa. And in business,
Thank you.
redefine. It's looking different. So you got to be ready for the pivot, be ready for the shift. Until next time, you all be blessed. Have a great day. Bye bye.